What's up, everybody, and welcome to One Man's Opinion. And tonight, we are finishing up our October spooky season, Halloween scary movie extravaganza. I haven't called it that one time, but that's what we're calling it on this one, the last video, and we're done with scary movies, at least for a little bit, unless one comes out on theaters like tomorrow and I end up seeing it. But for now, the plan is to be done with scary movies after this one. But first, we've got to talk about the Mac Daddy, the one that kicked off the slasher genre. And you know, and I know that it wasn't the first slasher movie ever. That was Black Christmas. It was a Canadian film, but this is the one that got traction. This is the one that's credited with kicking off the slasher genre. And here we go. Halloween. Halloween is the 1978 film by John Carpenter, featuring one of the most iconic characters to ever grace the screen across any genre, really, Michael Myers. Now, diving straight into this, you guys know that I always want to talk about the negatives first. So let's try to find one. Listen, guys, it's not an easy movie to find a negative with. This one's hard to pick apart. There's really not much negative you can say about it. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't find something to complain about. So the one negative I can really give this movie off the jump, 5 kills. Only 5 kills in the whole movie. And one of those is an off-screen kill. You get 4 kills in this movie that you see. And that's tough because Black Christmas, which is the only other movie for Halloween to compare itself to when it came out, Black Christmas came out in 1974. Black Christmas had 7 kills. And so 5 is a big letdown. Now, I will say Black Christmas had several more off-screen kills. So if you really look at it that way, Mike could give it a pass. I think, and don't hold me to this, I think there were 3 off-screen kills, which still give you that total of 4 on-screen kills. But there might have only been 2 in Black Christmas. I would have to double check that. I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, Black Christmas only had 4 on-screen kills, maybe 5. Halloween still gets you 4 on-screen kills. So with nothing else to compare itself to at the time, it's hard to give a movie a negative for that. It's not like it could look at other films. Friday the 13th had that advantage. Nightmare on Elm Street had that advantage. Basically, everyone that could look back at Halloween as the blueprint for this type of movie had that advantage to look back and say, okay, they had this many kills. It felt like there were long stretches without kills. Maybe we want to add a few more. Maybe we want to do things a little bit differently. And so for those reasons, it could be a negative for future movies. But you can't really take that away from Halloween because there was nothing else to compare it to. Not to mention it was made on a shoestring budget. I mean, there was almost no money for Halloween when they made it. And to become one of the most iconic movies, any genre you want to pick, but certainly, if not the most iconic horror movie of all time, probably easily anybody's top 5. That may be an interesting video. Best horror movies. Maybe another time. But probably anybody's top 5, certainly most iconic horror movies of all time. Halloween would probably make most people's lists. Being such a trendsetter, and being a genre starter, certainly a subgenre, how are you going to take that away from Halloween? Now, there are a couple other things we need to cover before we get into the positives. In the Friday the 13th review, I took points away from Friday the 13th for really bad POV kills. Those kills that were from the point of view of the killer, and it was just a close-up take, whoever was dying, and then they just kind of like hold their stomach and back away, and there's blood on their shirt, and they die. I took points away from Friday the 13th for that. This movie, Halloween, has a POV kill as well. So of the 5 kills, you have 1 that is off screen, 2 that is POV. And I'm about to explain to you why neither one of those get a negative from this movie, even though I've taken off points for similar reasons on other films. So let's start with the first one. The first kill of the movie happens right off the jump, and it's Michael Myers as a little kid, and he stabs his sister to death. Now, how does that compare to the first kill of Friday the 13th? Well, I've already told you, Friday the 13th, you have this close-up, you have the stab, you don't see the stab, you don't see the knife, you don't see anything. The only thing you see is a horrified look on his face, backs away, and then he's dead. That's it. That's all you get. How is Michael Myers is different? Michael Myers is very different because number one, he has a personal relationship with the person he's killing. This isn't a random camper. This isn't just a random teenager. This is Michael Myers' older sister. And so there's a little bit more emotional levity. This is not a random act. This is not a random murder. This isn't just a random serial killer. This is someone as a child who is so broken that they stab their older sister to death with multiple stab wounds. And that's number two. In Friday the 13th, that first kill, you just get the bloody stomach back away. That's it. And while you don't see all of the contact of the stabbing here, you see the knife and you see the multiple stabs coming down repeatedly. And the whole time you're just left to sit. You can hear the sound. It's very unnerving because it's just repetitive stab, 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 stab over and over again. It gives you time to think about it, to dwell on it. It gives you time to linger on the kill and those continuous blows like, isn't one enough? Isn't two enough? Isn't three enough? It just keeps getting worse and it forces you to sit through that trauma. And that's tough. That is a lot more effective than just catch up. That's why Friday the 13th loses points. Halloween gains points. Not to mention, again, Friday the 13th has the benefit of learning from its predecessors. Halloween doesn't have anything to look to but Black Christmas, and Black Christmas has POV kills too. So what are you going to do? Friday the 13th can look at one or two movies and improve on those. Halloween doesn't really have those advantages, though it does take some beats from Black Christmas. It's only one movie, and the genre wasn't really a thing yet. Halloween started this to be a thing. Number two, the dead body that is just found by the road. So Dr. Loomis finds a dead body by the road. Actually, he doesn't even find the body. He finds a truck and he realizes that Michael has been here. He's trying to find out where Michael went, and he's basically chasing him back to Haddonfield. On the way, he finds this truck, and then he gets back in his car and leaves, and the camera pans down, and you see the truck driver dead in the bush off to the side. Now, why is that okay? Well, if you'll recall, in my Friday the 13th review, I gave one of the kills a pass because it was a good scare. Even though it was an off-camera kill, when you found the body, when you were shown the body, it was unexpected. It was a cool visual, and it was a good scare. This one is none of those things. It's not a really cool visual. It's not a creative kill. The guy's he's just dead, you know? There's nothing special to it. So how can I give it a pass? Narrative. If you'll recall, in my Nightmare on Elm Street review, I gave Freddy a pass because it made sense for the narrative that he wasn't much of a threat after being pulled out of the dream world. From a narrative point of view, this kill was never supposed to be scary. This kill only goes to show how Michael gets the jumpsuit. He's wearing that mechanic jumpsuit all throughout the film. All this kill does is show that somewhere on his way to Haddonfield, he killed this truck driver, threw his body in a ditch, and stole his jumpsuit. And so it makes sense from a narrative point of view. It's not supposed to be a scary kill. It's not supposed to be a big thing. It sets up that Michael is willing to kill people who get in his way. It helps establish an air of tension in the film because it's like Loomis just finds this truck and then you see him run away and then the camera pans down, dead body. Nobody finds it. Nobody ever even knows, but you know, the audience knows, okay, Michael has already began to kill again. It's powerful and it makes sense for a narrative, so it gets a pass. And that's about it. That's about all I got for negatives. Guys, listen, this is Halloween. And if you haven't seen Halloween, I don't know why you're watching this anyway. Go watch the movie for yourself. Halloween has so many positives and it does so many things well. It's almost hard to begin. I don't want this review to be a half hour. And Halloween is one of those movies that speak for itself so well that it's almost like nothing I could say or do would ever add anything new to Halloween. But I will say, I think the most masterful thing about Halloween is the continual tension and the background presence of Michael Myers. The way he just shows up and he'll be in a car passing by in the background of the scene. There's one scene in particular where Loomis comes up and the cops are investigating a hardware store where Michael has broken in, and he stole some. I think he stole his knife there that he's going to use to kill people, and he got his Halloween mask there, which who knows why there's a Halloween mask in a hardware store. Maybe they used to sell Halloween masks in a hardware store, but I can't think of any hardware stores that sell Halloween masks today. But for whatever reason, Michael picks up his mask there. He steals a knife or whatever. And then after that, the cops are there. Loomis shows up and Loomis is asking questions. And while Loomis is asking questions, it's so cool. You can see the car that Michael stole drive by in the background. And he's gone. And this sort of thing happens all throughout the movie. A lot of them are more obvious. You'll see him standing in front of a bush. Laurie sees him standing down behind some sheets that are hanging out to dry. It's just unnerving. He's just so still, so quiet. It's brilliant. He did it before Jason ever did. And it's awesome. He's such a presence. Obviously, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. The movie that got her career started. It put her on the map. She's like the #1 scream queen of all time. Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome in this movie. Is all of the acting always great in this film? No, but Jamie Lee Curtis really does a great job. Her acting is really good. Does she look too old to be a high schooler in this movie? Yeah, she does. But other than that, that's not her fault. She got the part. She does a great job. She cemented herself forever as one of the great legends of not only horror, not only slasher, but in film history. Jamie Lee Curtis will always be a legend. Now let's talk about some kills. Let's talk about some scares. And I already talked about the tension a little bit that Michael brings to the table. But that score, that music, the everybody knows whose music that is. If you were sitting at home alone tonight and you're just thumbing through the guide or watching TV, I don't know, whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you heard that music and you thought you were oh no, you would crap your pants. You'd be out the door. You'd be gone. And don't tell me you wouldn't. That music is great. Fine. It's great. And the 1-2, Freddy's Coming for You, it's okay. I don't think it's the best one ever. The Michael Myers theme song, man, or whatever you want to call it, that music, that score that John Carpenter himself put together, by the way, so brilliant, masterful, and so good to send chills down your spine. Awesome. Adds to the tension. Beautifully done. And there is not another horror movie soundtrack to compare to that song that goes with Michael Myers everywhere he goes. So good. And now let's talk about some kills. Not many kills to choose from here, but without a doubt, the best kill of the movie. I think his name is Bob. I can't remember. He's one of the random teens, but he's the guy with the glasses who gets up to go get his girlfriend a beer, and he walks in the kitchen, and when he turns around, Mike comes out of like a closet or something beside, and just boom by the throat and puts him up against the wall. And man, it's so good. It's probably the best scare in the movie. Close to it anyway. Definitely close to the best scare in the movie, if not the absolute best scare in the movie. Michael pins him against the wall, raises him off the ground, and then pins him to the wall with the knife. The way Michael steps back, and I'm going to call him Bob. I don't know if that's his name. I'm pretty sure it's Bob. Bob's feet are just dangling off the ground still as he's pinned to the wall by that knife, and Mike just steps back and kind of does that silent head tilt to admire his work. It is a chilling and masterful moment in horror. It is so good. I love it. Absolutely love it. And then, right after that, when he walks into the room where his girlfriend is with the bed sheet over his head and the glasses on, who says Michael Myers can't have a sense of humor? This guy has a great sense of humor. I like to think that at this point, he's already killed 4 people at this point, unless I'm mistaken. And I like to think that he's gotten more comfortable with it. In that third kill, he kind of steps back and admires it a little bit. And I think he's starting to really enjoy himself. And now he's just having fun. And so he puts the bed sheet over and the spectacles, and he just stands there silently while she talks to him and then cusses him and then gets on the phone, and then he wraps the cord around and strangles her. It's awesome. It's good to have a little humor in your horror. It also makes Michael just a little bit more unsettling because he's so comfortable just messing with people. It's one thing to just go on a killing spree. It's another thing to have so much fun with it. The last thing I want to talk about as far as positives go, the end of the film, the chase sequence between him and Lori, him and Jamie Lee, so good. There's a couple of times where Jamie Lee thinks she's killed him, she's got him beat, and he always comes back. He just keeps popping up different places, and she's running, and it's so well done. You never know where he's gonna be. There's one scene where she's like backing up, and there's a doorway behind her, and it's completely pitch dark, and then you just see the face, just that white face, just slowly come into focus behind her. Oh man, so good. And then after she stabs him with his own knife in the closet, after that great closet scene where he punches through the closet and he's going after her and she stabs him. And then she comes out and she's like crying and she's hysterical and Michael's laying in the back. And then you get that old classic WWE Undertaker, which Undertaker definitely stole from Michael Myers, where he sits up and you're just like, oh God, he's still alive. So it's just so good. It's so good. This movie has so much to offer. I'm not going to go any further. Of course, Loomis shoots him at the end and he's still alive after taking like 5 gunshots and falling off a 2-story balcony. They go and check and the body's gone. Like I said at the beginning, there's not a whole lot I can say that hasn't already been said. So it's time to give the score. I don't believe in giving 100s. Halloween, an amazing movie, gets an easy 98 out of 100. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. That's done. It's done. It's done. No more Halloween. No more scary stuff. I'm done with scary stuff for at least a minute or two. I don't know what's coming next. I've got some things working, some things that are a little bit different than movie reviews. Still expect some movie reviews coming, but around Thanksgiving, I'm going to do something a little special, so look out for that. Did you enjoy what I said? Do you have anything to add? Add it down in the comments. Do you not like it? Do you not like Halloween? If so, your opinion's wrong. I don't even want to hear about it, but if you want to leave something in the comments, go right on ahead. I don't care. If you get mad at this one, that's definitely just too bad. It's just one man's opinion, and this time it's definitely the right opinion. Have a nice day. Happy Halloween, and thank you.